Blessing didn't just divorce her husband. She put him on a plane back to the trenches. And the night he left, she slept like a baby. Today, half the people in her church whisper that she is a wicked woman. The other half look at her with secret admiration, the kind people hide because they are afraid to say out loud that they would have done the same thing if they were brave enough. But before anyone judges her, before anyone types "evil woman" in the comments of her life, they need to know what really happened. Blessing is a registered nurse living in Toronto, Canada. For 3 years of her life, she worked like someone running from hunger. Double shifts, night shifts, 12 to 16 hours on her feet every single day. She cleaned blood, wiped vomit, bathed patients who could no longer lift their own hands, and held dying people while their families cried through phone screens. Some patients were kind, others were cruel. Some spat insults at her face when pain took over their minds. Yet every morning, no matter how much her body ached, Blessing stood up and went back. Because she was saving money. Not for luxury, not for fashion, not for vacations. She was saving for love. For a man named Michael. 3 Christmases earlier, Blessing had traveled back home to visit her family. She was already tired of dating apps, tired of broken promises, tired of men who sounded sweet today and disappeared tomorrow. She wasn't looking for anything serious when she met him. But Michael found her anyway. He was tall, handsome, and well-spoken, with a deep voice that made a woman feel safe just by listening. He told her he was an engineer, smart, hardworking, but stuck in a country with no real opportunities. They talked every day after that. Morning calls, night calls, long conversations that slowly wrapped around Blessing's lonely heart. One evening, under dim streetlights, Michael held her hands and said, "Blessing, if you help me get to Canada, I swear I will work with my blood. You will never regret loving me." Blessing was 32, single, lonely, tired of being strong alone. So she believed him. And love made her brave and foolish. Blessing spent over $15,000 bringing Michael to Canada. Immigration lawyers, filing fees, medical exams, flight tickets, sponsorship papers. Every dollar came from swollen legs, aching bones, sleepless nights, and silent tears on her bathroom floor after work. When Michael's visa was approved, he cried on the phone like a child. Blessing cried even harder. The day he landed at Toronto Pearson International Airport, she ran into his arms like a woman in a romantic movie. At that moment, she truly believed her suffering had finally ended. For the first 6 months, Michael was everything she had prayed for. He cooked, he cleaned, he warmed her bathwater. He rubbed her tired feet every night and called her his angel. They got married quietly at the courthouse with only 2 witnesses. Then they filed for his permanent residency. His interview was scheduled for the following week. Blessing felt safe. She felt chosen. She felt loved. Until the Sunday her life collapsed. That Sunday, Blessing returned home early from work because a terrible migraine nearly blinded her. The house was unusually quiet. Michael wasn't in the living room. As she walked toward the bedroom, she heard him laughing on the phone. Not the soft laughter he shared with her. This one was loud, careless, rough, and he was speaking pidgin. Her heart started racing. "Relax," Michael said into the phone. "The Mega doesn't suspect anything." Blessing's stomach twisted violently. Mega, a fool, a victim, someone being used. She moved closer to the door. "The interview is next week," he continued, laughing. "Once I get that paper, I'll wait a few months, file for divorce, then bring you and the kids. Canada is sweet." A woman's voice replied from the phone, soft but heavy with longing. "We miss you, Daddy." Junior cries every night. Blessing's knees almost gave out. In one moment, her entire life shattered. Michael had a wife. He had children. He had a whole family. And Blessing was only a ladder. He laughed again. "This woman is just a ladder. You are the owner of the house." Blessing did not scream. She did not kick the door. She did not confront him. Something inside her went cold, so cold it frightened her. She walked quietly back to her car and drove to a coffee shop without knowing how she got there. For 3 hours, she sat there staring into space, replaying every kiss, every promise, every lie. That night, she went home and pretended. She cooked. She laughed. She kissed the same man who was planning to throw her away like trash. But while he slept, something in Blessing detached completely. The next morning, while Michael went to the gym, Blessing opened her laptop. With shaking fingers and a steady heart, She logged into the immigration website. She withdrew her sponsorship. She wrote a long, detailed report explaining everything: the fake marriage, the secret wife, the hidden children, the immigration scam. She made it clear that she would no longer support him financially or legally. Then she clicked submit. And she waited. On the day of the interview, Michael dressed like royalty. Fresh haircut, sharp suit, wide smile. "Today our dreams begin, baby," he said proudly. Blessing simply smiled. At the immigration office, they sat side by side. When his name was called, it wasn't an immigration officer that stepped out. It was two border enforcement officers. They asked for his identification. They told him his sponsorship had been withdrawn, that his status was now invalid, that he was under arrest. Michael turned to Blessing, confusion and fear crashing together in his eyes. "Blessing, what is happening?" Blessing stood up slowly. She looked him straight in the eyes and said quietly, "I am not a ladder, Michael. And this mega has closed the bank." Then she turned around and walked away while he was placed in handcuffs. Today, Michael sits in a detention center waiting to be deported. His family sends curses. His relatives send threats. His real wife sends Bible verses about forgiveness and begs for mercy. Blessing feels nothing, because she worked too hard to allow a parasite to live in her peace. Tonight, she sits alone in her quiet Toronto apartment, a glass of wine in her hand, silence in her house, freedom in her soul, and for the first time in a long time, she can finally breathe.